So for those of you who are new to me, who have not met me yet, and this is your first time, I'm Kim. I'm Kim Chestney. I'm the founder of Intuition Lab, and intuition, as you may know, is my passion. I have been studying it and teaching it for most of my life, and I'm really happy to be here with you tonight to help you to reset your intuition and to really get back to that core of ourself, because that's what intuition's all about. It's about reconnecting to that truth within us. So we're going to do some really profound exercises tonight to help us do this. And I'm going to teach you stuff that you can take with you and you can do it anytime. So we do once you do this once, you can take it with you and do it whenever you need it. The next time you need to take a break and come back to yourself, it'll be here for you. And we'll also send out a replay for tomorrow. So if you don't know, I wrote a book called Radical Intuition, A Revolutionary Guide to Owning Your Inner Power. And that really, for me, was the catalyst for spreading the word about this new idea of intuition is something that's just a natural byproduct of our everyday living and can be cultivated just like the intellect. And it's just sort of a part of us that we've lost touch with. So doing the work like we're doing tonight is really valuable to help us remember that there's another part of our brain other than our thinking mind, right? There's a very valuable, real, intuitive part of our mind. And that is really crucial to the evolution of our consciousness. So I'm going to get into all that and a little bit more, but before we get started, I do want to turn this over to Sarah and introduce Sarah Kostelnik, who is one of the faculty members at Intuition Lab and a certified intuition master practitioner. And I'm so happy to have her here tonight co-facilitating. She's going to be helping out and guiding you in different ways, but I want to turn it over and let her say hello. So Sarah.
Yes, thank you, Kim. So welcome, everyone. It's so good to see so many new faces and some returning faces. We have a huge group ahead of us. I'm really excited to be here and helping Kim out tonight. So yes, as Kim mentioned, my name is Sarah. I am a certified intuition practitioner. I've been working with Kim now for over a year, developing my own intuition, not only for personal and spiritual development, but also professional and career development. I'm the founder of Jade Scott Design. It's a small residential interior design firm in Pittsburgh. But yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm excited to be here, as I said. I'll be kind of facilitating the chat box. So I see some people are dropping in, letting us know where they're from. Just if you have any questions in there, I'll try to monitor that as best as I can. And yeah, we'll go from there. Put some links in there later in the chat too, when we're ready, but so pay attention to that as well. So thanks, Kim.
Great. Yep. So yeah, so if anything comes up while I'm talking, if there's something, if you can't hear me, or if you have any questions about anything I'm saying, feel free to drop it in the chat. Sarah will work through it with you. And also she'll be dropping in some links in there throughout the program. We're going to, this is going to be a program that's a little different. If you've ever had a course with me before, or a class or a workshop with me, you'll know that, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just mute that. Here we go. I got a little feedback there for a second. If you had a workshop with me, you'll know that most of our workshops are really interactive. We do a lot of intuition practice. We work with each other. We share intuition. So it's typically very dynamic and interactive. But today, since we're talking about a renewal, since we're talking about coming home and going within, this is going to be a lot of inner work. This is going to be more, it's going to be an activity with more spaciousness. We're going to go home to ourself. We're going to sit in some silence. We're going to go within and we're going to retrieve insight for ourselves. So it's going to start out as we're going to move through some meditations and visualization. And then we're going to do some intuition activation exercises to sort of open up your intuition. And there's nothing woo or nothing scary. If you've never done this before, it's really just opening up a natural part of yourself. And there's nothing that can hurt you with your intuition. Your intuition is your best friend. It wants what's best for you. That's the thing about intuition. People get freaked out about it because we don't understand it. A lot of throughout history, we didn't understand the way the quantum world works. Now we know that with the quantum world that intuition is really just a type of quantum thinking. We're able to do some of these things that once seemed impossible when we were just thinking in a sort of linear fashion in the kind of mind-made world of cause and effect. But now we understand that things like entanglement are real, that it's possible for particles to speak to each other and interconnect when they're on opposite sides of the planet or in different time and space. And it's no different for human beings. So we have an energetic connection that now we're starting to understand through physics, that it's very real. And the work that we do at Intuition Lab is very grounded. It's very focused on understanding the very natural human phenomena of intuition that is innate within us. And it's not something that we should, think is crazy or out there. We're really normalizing intuition. So I encourage you to follow through with us and just really open up that dimension of yourself with us tonight so that you can let it live and come alive and witness that magic of intuition for yourself, because that's what it's all about. It's about feeling it for yourself. And that's what's so great about intuition work is you don't have to take it from me. You can sit here and do it for yourself, see it for yourself, feel it for yourself. So that's always my goal, is for you to come away with your own experience of your own intuition. And everybody's intuition is unique. So don't think it has to come a certain way or happen a certain way. Each of us have our own unique brand of intuition. And with time and practice, you can learn your intuitive language. And that's what we do at Intuition Lab. We teach people to understand their intuitive language. Just like you have a way of thinking and talking and speaking, you have a way of intuiting. Some people have creative talents, artistic talents, musical talents, athletic talents. Intuition's no different. There's different types of intuition, and they're very much like talents. So we aim to bring that out in you and to help you find your intuitive talents and the way it flows most freely through you. So if you enjoy tonight and you're feeling like you're in your intuitive zone and you love it and you fall in love with it the way I've fallen in love with it, we are starting up enrollment for 3 different programs right now. We have a year-long program, a 6-week program, and a certification program. If you're like Sarah and you have a business or you want to get certified. So there's a lot of opportunities to go deeper if this is something that you love or that touches you this evening. So I welcome you to stay in touch, and I hope that this serves you and brightens up your life and your evening with some new insight as we get started. And right now, as we're sitting here, I think we've got almost a full house. We only have room for 20 more, and then we're going to be full for the night. So we have a wonderful energy built here tonight with so many people coming together with this intention of returning to ourselves, of knowing ourselves, of stepping back from the world and reconnecting and recharging. So we have a beautiful space open tonight, and I'm welcoming all of you, and I'm so happy to see all of you. I'm happy to see the familiar faces. I'm happy to see the new faces, and I look forward to getting to know you if I haven't met you yet. So my heart goes out to each of you, and I hope that our time together tonight is enriched and full of joy and insight. So on that note, let's get started. So what we want to do first is get comfortable. So we just want to get comfortable. And if you have a pen and paper, now's the time, good time to get that. Bring that close, sit it nearby. Also, if you have an intuition card deck, if you have any kind of card deck that you like, this is a good time to get it. You can, again, don't pull any cards yet, but just have it close by. You can even shuffle it here and there if you want. If you don't have a card deck, don't worry, we've got you covered. Sarah is going to put a link in the chat. You can use our online card deck. I have this deck here. It's my Illuminate card deck. I designed this myself, and it's all these are images that are designed to help you to cultivate your intuition. So this is an intuition development deck. So you are welcome to use the link in the chat anytime you want. You can use it tonight, you can use it tomorrow, you can come back to it anytime you want to work with your intuition and get some intuitive guidance. It really serves as a portal for your intuition to start to speak to you, because that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to open up this space to kind of start a conversation with our higher self, with that part of ourself that knows everything. So these card decks can be really helpful. So if you want to use a different card deck of your own, just try to pick one that doesn't have a lot of words on it, something that has a lot of pictures and something visual that you can use, because we're going to work with that card to receive some intuitive guidance and validations for some of the things that come to us during this experience tonight with the intuition renewal ritual. I feel like that's a tongue twister. I don't think I could say that 3 times in a row quickly. So So this is the program. I call it Return to Yourself because that's what we're doing. The holidays are busy, life is busy, all the time. The different times that we are going through in our life, we get carried away from ourselves when we're busy and we're working and caught up in the world. But it's so important for us to come home to ourselves and to stay on our center. And when you use the ritual that we're going to do tonight, it's an opportunity for you to just step back and say, okay, tonight I'm going to connect with myself. I'm going to reactivate that inner connection. And it doesn't mean you have to take a week's vacation. It doesn't mean that you have to do these drastic things. These little moments can make a big difference in your life. If you do something like this once a week, even, it can help to recenter you and ground you in that core peace and power that is connected with your intuition and help you live every day by that inner guidance. It makes life run so much more smoothly instead of having to try and figure everything out and run around like chickens with their heads cut off sometimes. This intuition will serve us every day if we open space for it. So this ritual is an opportunity to open space, and you can do it whenever you're like, whenever you're moved to do it. So if you're here today, it's because you've had a calling. You've been called to touch that part of yourself. There's something within you that wants to speak to you. There's something that wants to touch you. There's a part of your heart and your mind that knows that there's so much more to life than what we think, than our 9 to 5s, than doing all the things that we have to do to get by. There's a richness within us that calls to us and waits for us. And when we open up space, it will speak. What we do is teach you how to listen and how to understand what it means when we do hear things. And I don't necessarily mean hear things. I mean receive things, know things. Intuition arrives in so many ways. If you haven't read my book, you might not know, what I mean when I say that, but essentially intuition has so many different pathways. It can come as a knowing, it can come as a feeling, it can come as a sensation or a thought or a word or an idea or creativity. It can touch every aspect of our life. That's the thing. I always tell people I have the most important job in the world because intuition affects everything. And if you use your intuition in everything you do, everything will be better. Everything. So it's my honor to be here tonight and do this and take care of this issue and share it with you because it's so important that we all learn about it and we all learn to embody it in our lives. Um, so now is the time. Now is the time for us to step back together and to rest, right? Rest. Rest is so important. There's a difference between rest and sleep. We sleep at night, every night we sleep. But when we use our intuition, we can rest, we can be still, we can be quiet, we can recharge, we can revitalize, and be wide awake, more awake than we've ever been. So this is the time, in this moment. Let's settle in, let's relax, let's get comfortable, and set our intentions on returning to that true self within us, touching that true self, and becoming that person that we forgot about, right? That person that we know is in there, that person that we feel in those moments of joy and peace in between the busy moments. We want to go back and be with them and let them speak and let them guide us. So I'm going to get things started. We're going to move into a kind of meditation. You can close your eyes, you can leave your eyes open. It doesn't have to be a deep meditation, but it's a sort of waking meditation where we can go within and experience our inner presence and open up that gateway where stillness speaks. So we talk about mindfulness, but that presence and stillness of mindfulness is the gateway to insightfulness, where your intuition will give you the answers you're looking for, will give you the wisdom, the guidance. So we're going to move into the stillness. We're going to quiet our minds. We're going to let everything go, all of it, just whatever's going on with you, we're going to let it go. And we're going to get into the moment, and we're going to open up some space for our inner guidance to speak to us. So start thinking about in this moment, thinking about the year ahead, thinking about the days, the weeks ahead. where you are in your life and what areas of life you would like guidance on, or reassurance, or just to know and touch that mystery, that love within you. There are many reasons why we go to our intuition, but whatever reason brought you here, start by taking that into your heart and setting that intention. Now, I always like to start, those of you who have been in my retreats and classes know I like to start with a little music. Music really serves to uplift us. And when we're feeling happy and joyful and uplifted, it's so much easier to connect with our intuition. We're feeling low, it's hard because we're heavy, and intuition is very high vibration. So it's really important that tonight we get into a good space. So if there's anything you like to do, like put on like aromatherapy or a candle or whatever you like to do to get yourself feeling good, feel free to do that while we get ready. I'm gonna just play a little some songs on the bell and the drum just to get set our energy in my space. Hopefully it'll come through Zoom for you and not sound terrible. But if it does, know that it's setting the space in here, which I hope will resonate on an energetic level with all of you. So let's enjoy this and then move into our ritual. Now let's settle into the moment with some deep cleansing breaths. Just breathing in all of the joyful, happy energy between us and releasing any stress or tension. Just letting it go. Just relaxing into the moment. You can greet yourself with a gentle, loving smile. See that smile. That smile will lift you up. Let it lift you up. Feel the shift when you put a smile, a real smile on your face. Yes. Allow that smile to uplift you and fill your heart with light. Just be in the natural spaciousness of your own presence. Soak into your own awareness, the lightness, the peace within you. And release. Feel the freedom of transcending that I, that conditioned I on the world of form. It's told you who you are, but you're so much more. You're so much more. So much more. Whatever it is that has a hold on you, whatever it is that's in your thoughts, whatever it is that's been troubling you, whatever it is that's been compelling you, right now, just let it go. Let it all go. Be in this moment, this beautiful moment when we're together, you and I, and all the people that are participating here, this beautiful energy. Just be. There's nothing to become, there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to unbecome. You have everything you need right here in this moment. and all the answers that you're looking for are within you. This is the place of wisdom. This is your connection to the witness at the heart of your being. This is the place where you heal. This is the place where you become whole again. This is the place that you touch the part of you that knows all things, the part of you that can neither be created nor destroyed, the part of you that's connected to the whole of the universe. Here we recharge, we revitalize, and we create this space of inner sanctuary. Now let's just be here. Expand into yourself, to the greatest version of yourself, to your highest self, to your eternal self, to the self beyond all selves. And refill your energy. Connect with your source and refill the energy within you. Filling up your heart and your soul and your mind with light, and love, and healing energy. Send a healing to yourself. Send a healing to those that are with you and those that are with us tonight, that we may all heal together, become whole together, and rise together into the truth of our collective intuition. This is the gateway to your intuition, this place that you are right now. Expanding past the limits of your personal identity. This is where you touch the magic. This is where the great truths and mysteries are revealed within you. You don't have to seek. You don't need a guru. You just have to go within you. As we're here, we can open up our intuitive flow and expand it. Take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Feel the beautiful flow of light, of life, wisdom flowing and pouring into your mind. A radiant white light of truth filling you up, pouring down from above through your crown to your third eye. You might even feel that start to tingle. To place your attention on the warmth, the glow, the illuminating mind, the illuminating point between the eyes. Feel it light up. Feel the energy pulsing and growing and radiating Feel the energy continue to flow downward into your heart, warming your heart, filling your heart with resonance to the truth. We know the truth by the way it feels. With our intuition, we don't just know the truth, we feel the truth. We feel what's right, we feel what's for us. So open up that big, beautiful heart of yours. Open it to the truth. Open it to all that's about to come through tonight so that you can know and feel your truth and your true self. Open to this dimension of your life, this higher dimension, this part of you that exists above and beyond and within you. Allow it to touch you and let it bring you the answers that you seek. This silence and this stillness, it speaks. And let's invite it to speak to us now. Breathe in and breathe out. Open your mind. Open your heart. And relax into the quiet of your being. Now, ask the all-knowing part of yourself, what must you know in this moment? What guidance, what wisdom, what understanding, what reassurance can the higher part of you bring in this moment? Watch for thoughts, feelings, and sensation that arrive effortlessly from that place beyond your mind. Anything that comes into your mind and your head, feel free to get out your pen or your paper and start writing them down so you don't forget them, or simply just let them flow through you. What guidance does life have for you right now? This is beyond visualization. This is something that you don't control. It's something you receive. Just let those things come in. You might feel like your imagination, but it's just life imagining through you. You're following it, but it's very real. Watch for any you guidance. You are supported. You are loved. You are okay. You are more than enough. Your higher self might start to speak to you like that. The third person. It's okay if nothing comes, just be and relax. Sometimes we have to relax and open up, and things will just suddenly shift. Notice any words or phrases or images that come out of nowhere. They're meaningful. It's not just your mind. That's how intuition feels. They come out of nowhere. But they don't come out of nowhere. They come from somewhere, right? They come from somewhere. They come from you. So when they come, accept them. Follow them deeper. Let my voice move into the background and go into your own place. Write, journal. Let your intuition carry you away. Find the guidance. Find the insight. Sometimes intuition comes quickly, like that, and it's over, and you have it, and it's received. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it takes channeling and journaling and beautiful creativity to get there. Sometimes it comes in an instant. You'll find your way. The more you practice this, the easier it gets. And don't worry if you haven't gotten anything, because we're going to pull a card in a moment. Now, I invite you to come back to this space and continue if you're not finished. When you're ready, I'd like us to move into the next part of the ritual, which is the card pull. So if you have cards, have your cards, take your cards out, and let's shuffle them. And Sarah just put the link back in the chat for you. If you don't have cards, you can click that link and scroll down to the card. You'll see a little electronic card, and then you click it, it'll turn over a card for you. But don't turn it over yet. If you want to practice on one, you can practice on one. But let's take a moment and set our intention as we shuffle our cards or prepare to turn over our card on anything that just came to you intuitively from that open space we created, from that place of calm, from that reminder of how important it is to stay close to ourselves and not get too carried away from the world, because you are your own best friend. And when you're alone, you're never really alone. You're always with that part of yourself that can touch you intuitively and guide you and be there for you. And moving into this space of love and recharge will help you when you do anything out there in the world of form. So when you're ready, when you feel like you've found the right card, you can turn it over. Or when you're ready, you can click the card on the screen if you're using the card deck. And when you turn it over, the wild card, of course, when you turn it over, notice the first thing that you see on the card. That first thing you see on the card is your point of departure. Let it tell you a story that relates to you, that speaks to you. Are there symbols on the card that relate to anything that you just experienced or something that's going on in your life right now? Are there metaphors in the card that are calling you in to go deeper and give you that guidance and that validation? How does your card speak to you? What story does the card tell you or give you answers? If you see an empty card, you can click it again. Sometimes it tells us just to go again. How does this card relate to you in your life at this moment? I got the wild card the first time too. Let the card draw you in. What feelings, thoughts, impressions drop in your mind as you look at it? Any phrases? All of those little bits are sacred communications from that higher part of yourself. It might feel like your imagination, but it's life imagining through you, giving you answers, giving you direction, giving you signs, nudges, God winks, touching your heart. When it touches your heart, when you get to that place of extraordinary insight, when the message is received, you'll feel it resonate within you. The aha moment. Yes, that's what it meant. Yes, I understand. So as you look at your card, allow that limitless dimension of truth to flow into you. Allow your mind to speak to you with the other side of your brain. Not the thinking, spell everything out clearly sign, the creative. We're going to have a Q&A when this is over. So if you have any trouble, we'll work through with you guys on this. So if you're having technical difficulties, never fear. We've got you covered. Just take a deep breath and open up and receive this boundless wisdom of life that is within you. Just open and receive. That's all you have to do. You can write it down. I recommend writing it down because when intuition flows, it just comes through you, and then 5 seconds later, you don't even remember it because you didn't think it up. It just flowed through you. So all those insights, those ideas, those things that come to you in this space, be sure to write them down. And whatever comes, it might not make sense right now. It might make sense tomorrow or in 2 weeks. However crazy it seems, sometimes the crazier the better. Just write it down. Witness it. Trust it. Own it. We have to start trusting that inner voice, and the work that we do will help this to become clear, help you to understand it and trust it, so you can live every day by it. And you can allow this inner process to illuminate your mind, to resonate in your heart, and allow it to come alive in your spirit. So if you have more to do, I invite you to come back to this space when we're finished later this evening. Your intuition will always be there to touch back into it. True intuition abides. It'll still be there, won't go anywhere. You can continue journaling or writing. I'm also going to send out, after this is over, a worksheet with journaling prompts for you. And I think we can put that link in the chat too. So you can continue journaling and working with some of these prompts to help you get even deeper insights into the card and into the wisdom that came through today. So on that note, I want to close this part of the session, and then we'll move into a Q&A and work through any questions you've had through this experience. But I want to close this out with a blessing for everyone from my heart to yours. May this deepest wisdom of life, may it extend between the worlds to touch you, move you, and enlighten you every day of your life. May its light always shine in your heart. May it illuminate all your darkest places. May it uplift you and guide you effortlessly in all your days ahead. So I invite all of you to create your own version of this ritual in your own life and use it whenever you want to reconnect and recharge and touch back into that inner truth and wisdom within you. Thank you so much for going through that with me. And um, I'm here now, and Sarah's here now to answer any questions or or work through it. If you had any questions about what happened, does anybody want to share some things with us? You might need to raise your hand. We can't see everyone, so if you have a question, just maybe use your little reaction emoji to put your hand up, and then we'll call on you. Sarah, was there any questions in the chat that we needed to address, or anything was, I know, oh, Shailene's got one.
Yeah, they're starting to come in now. Any suggestions on how to move out of the thinking mind that is so stronger because it's used more than the intuitive mind, from Megan?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. That is a great question. I think that's an ever-present struggle for us human beings because we are so conditioned to rely on that thinking mind. So the short answer is, more practice with the other side of our mind. So, getting into that intuitive, creative side of thinking. I have some exercises that I call like retraining your brain to think with intuition first, right? Because we've always been taught to think this way, but it's only half the picture. Forgotten to shift into a place where that first insight, and we develop a practice and a ritual, and we train ourselves to trust those little first impressions and the first nudges and those feelings that come before our mind can sort of take over and talk us out of it. And I think Sarah could probably attest to this, over the last year or so when she's been working on this, is that the more you do it, the easier it gets. Is that your experience, Sarah?
Yeah, it's just like any other muscle. It needs exercised. And I feel, yeah, definitely the more you do it, the more you become aware of it too, just in everyday nuances, washing the dishes and you get just a drop in about something so minor. I think when we all start out with our intuition work, we're looking for this big breakthrough on something. And I think that really just practicing it with little things throughout our day is really the best way to develop it.
Yeah, absolutely. Making a habit of it, right? Making that a habit to use our intuition, and like Einstein, supposedly said, is we want the mind to be the faithful servant of our intuition. Like that's the gift. That's where the power is. Intuition is the power, and our mind should be serving that. So, more stillness, more quiet, more of this is really helpful. And then once you start learning to recognize your intuition, just practicing it, it'll get easier. It really does. But great question. Shailene, let's go, Shailene. She's got her hand up.
Hi, I found you totally by following my intuition. I've been to a couple of your lives. I wanted to actually see you at Omega Institute, but I didn't get there. But so much has happened and changed for me just since I first stumbled upon your book, and then 2 days or a month later I found a live and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy, because you just came into my awareness and made me understand my intuition and such a I feel like it's just so amazingly digestible for everyone, no matter where they're at their spiritual journey. And I'm at a place now where I've started using my intuition to help others, but I've gotten away from using it for myself. So that's what I think I came back here tonight, because that's the path I'm on now. And just today in general, I've had so much stuff. I saw a psychic earlier today, even though I'm developing my psychic abilities, and I came to this even though I am intuitive. And it's just amazing, all the connections, and how even this today has tied back to the other two things that I did today for my intuition and just what I'm kind of going through. So it was really cool. I used my own Oracle deck and I got this. And the first thing that stood out to me was the big red tree. And for some reason, it instantly just made me think of like fire, like burning, like passion, fire, like that kind of energy. And it says release, which I know you said to try to get cards that didn't have a lot of words. So I did really feel drawn in, but I also like the release and fire thing came through. So like release by fire is what like came through for me. And it was just really cool with the leaves falling. I got like shedding layers with it being like a fall setting. I was like following cycles, following the natural rhythm. So this card like really called out to what I've been focusing on and kind of like setting my intentions towards. So it was just really, really cool. And it's just taking that time to like drop in and connect for me. I don't do it enough. And that is another thing. Like, I know that's why I came here tonight, was to reconnect to that and be like, oh yeah, this is what I have to do.
Yeah, and I love that, and thank you for everything you just said. It makes it my heart overflow to hear things like that, because that's what this is all about for me, is doing this and sharing this and allowing it to touch others. So thank you, and thank you for sharing your process, because I do feel like it's all connected, and I was feeling it. I was feeling like this sort of collective thing, like where we all just need to get back here, and even especially as an intuitive person, you're an intuitive person already, but that doesn't mean that you're still not growing and you're not on the journey and you're not still learning and still having to feed your own intuition. So what a beautiful process. And I'm so happy to have been able to be there through it with you, for you, and to meet you. So I'm glad. I'm sorry I didn't get to see you at Omega, but there's going to be more. We're doing another one
Yeah.
next fall. So
Oh, at Omega, will you be there again?
well, this fall we're going to be at the Art of Living Center in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I'm in New York, but I am still interested.
Yeah, I love Omega. We had a fabulous retreat there. I would love to go back there as well. It's just COVID's just been really crazy. I think, with the retreat centers, I think it's been hard. So hopefully by then, this will all have been settled down a little bit, and we'll have a good summer next year and be able to see each other in person again.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Thank
Well,
you.
thanks, Shailene.
Marilyn had a great question. What if the first thing I see on the card doesn't really resonate, but other things do, and then the first thing resonates?
Ah, I love that. That's a good one. It's got a toughie. Yeah. So intuition likes to do its own thing, and it's okay if the first thing on your card isn't your thing. If your intuition like tells you to keep moving, then keep moving. So there's no rules with intuition. That's the thing. Like, the cause and effect world has like absolute rules. And that's what makes intuition's teaching so fun, because there aren't actually any solid rules I can teach you. I have to just teach you how to use your own intuition, which is very flexible and a malleable process. So I always defer to following your intuition. If the second or third thing is what resonates, you go with what resonates, and that'll lead you through it. And yeah, maybe you were just meant to go into a circle and end up back there, and there's something for you through that process. But that's a great question. Short answer, doesn't really matter. Just follow the resonance in your heart if that first impression isn't what gets things started for you. Does that
Great.
sound right to you, Sarah? Does that feel like?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have to kind of, that's why it's great to have the journals, just jotting everything down, because really at the end, which you teach in your courses, is that it really all comes together. But yeah.
That extraordinary insight, right? That's all that matters, is that you get to that.
Let's see, we have a couple other questions. Risa asked, so, hey Risa, is it normal to have not only a tingling sensation, but also pressure on my third eye? I can say yes, that happened to me tonight for sure. So yeah, that's definitely normal.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. And That's the thing. Everyone will feel different things. Like I also feel the tickling on your nose. It's that activation of that energy center up here. So a lot of different things can happen. And really it's just about you kind of figuring out your own tell. Your intuition's going to have a tell, and my intuition for me is a tickling nose or like a little sensation here. Maybe yours is some pressure there. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Because I think there's a number of different ways that different people have different things that happen. So feel free to share yours if there's something special that your intuition does. You tick on your nose. Yeah. That's a common one. And like, I never used to understand it when I was back in like mediumship school, when I was young in mediumship school. They're like, that's your guides are tickling your nose. And I was like, I need
Goosebumps.
a
I think
rational
goosebumps
explanation.
are,
What?
I think goosebumps are kind of common
Yes.
too. Um, kind of just a sensation of warmth or cold too. I've gotten before flashes of light. So it's really channels through your senses too, I think. Some people hear music, some people hear or little tunes. But body sensations are a big one for a lot of people, I think.
Yes. Agreed.
This is a good one. We keep getting a couple questions kind of around this same question. Leanne asked, how do we differentiate between intuition and neurotic thought patterns?
Mm.
And then Carla had also asked, how do we shut off the busy mind, the chatter? So kind of the same question.
Yeah, so differentiating between those things, that is one of the most important things that we need to do with our intuition. It is really at the core of all of our intuition development work, because everyone always tells us we have to listen to our inner voice and our intuition is our inner voice. But guess what? We have a lot of voices in our head, and not all of them are our intuition. And it's one of the most common problems is that people mistake things for their intuition. I talk a lot about how I say, oh, intuition is never wrong. People are like, what happens when your intuition's wrong? It's never wrong. Intuition is synonymous with truth. Intuition cannot implicitly be wrong. What happens is we're wrong because we mistake those other voices in our head, our inner critic, our hopes, our fears, our wants. We mistake that for that true north, that solid inner guidance of our intuition. So it's so important to recognize those different voices. And right off the bat, in the beginning, it's not easy to do, right? So in the book, in Radical Intuition, I have like a checklist you can use to answer that question. And I'll talk about all the qualities of an intuition. Does it abide? Does it come from that still calm place of peace and power? Right? Is it supporting you? Is it something that's going to help you, uplift you, make you feel stronger, expansive? Right? These are really important qualities that only intuition has, right? If it's something that's emotional, if it's something that makes you feel small and fearful, that is 100% not your intuition. Never, ever, ever will your intuition make you feel lower, smaller, or less than. That's your ego, that's your fear, that's something else. Your intuition, no matter what it is, it's not going to tell you like frou pie in the sky stuff, but it is going to tell you the things that empower you, the things that open up that place of power. It might not be what you necessarily want to hear, but it will tell you the truth, and the truth that will set you free. So ultimately, it's a matter of learning to know how those different things feel. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. It really does come down to practice makes perfect. Once you get to know what your real intuition feels like, then you recognize this other chatter. You recognize those thoughts that are crazy thoughts that are just nonsense, or junk thoughts, is what I call them. You recognize those irrational feelings. None of those things are actually your intuition. Your intuition is solid and true, and it comes from a place above thought and above emotion. It's your higher heart and your higher mind, right? It's that place of truth. So it takes a little time, but it's a really important question. So I'm glad you asked it.
Okay. Let's see. It's 7:59. You want me to keep continuing with all the questions or?
Yeah, well, why don't we just do this? I'd be happy to answer some more questions. And I want to make sure that Kenneth got a chance for his to work. And thank you. I know some people have to pop out at 8, but I do want to say I'm going to send out that follow-up email with all of your journal prompts. And I also have information if you want to join us and practice more of this in person for upcoming classes, because as Sarah could probably attest, they're a lot of fun. We do a lot of stuff like this. We work together and we have a wonderful group of people that get to know each other and form a really beautiful community together. So it's a great community too. I know a lot of you signed up. I see a lot of people here that I'm going to be seeing in the program in a couple weeks. We start on January 28th and we're on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll be meeting for 6 sessions coming up in January, February, March. So if you're interested, check it out. Would love to have you join us. The door is open. Everyone is welcome. We want to spread the word about intuition and raise awareness of how important this is for all of our lives. So I'm happy to stay on and answer some questions for those of you who want to chat some more. For everyone else, mwah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Hi, Walter. Thank you so much for being here tonight and doing this with us and coming home to ourselves with us. And I hope to see you all soon here if you need anything else. Thank you, Susan. It was great seeing you too. All right. So for those who are sticking around, Sarah, which one do we want to ask next?
Yeah, Sandra's sticking around. If you're still here, you can put your hand up. We can answer your question. There she is. Okay, so Sandra, I think I scrolled too far. Where'd you go? Okay, so Sandra, a lot of people tell her that she's very intuitive. But I think I'm so used to using my intuition that I take it for granted. It's like I expect it to be some kind of loud voice in my ear, but it's truly a quiet knowing. Or a feeling in the gut. Does that indicate there's a lack of confidence on my end?
What do you think about that, Sarah?
I think that you're becoming aware of it probably, and people are bringing it to your attention. So to me, I don't think it's a lack of confidence. I think it's coming forward to you now. I think that's why you're here. I think that's why people are telling you, and it's time for you to start paying attention to it, is what I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer, and it's a developmental process. And at first when I started using my intuition, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, right? Because that's the thing about intuition. It comes from this uncertain place. So if you know what you're doing, you're not actually using your intuition because it comes through in things you can't know. So it's this interesting dynamic of moving into that uncomfortable place of not knowing and also knowing. But once you get comfortable in that place and you understand that releasing that need to know and understand and sort of have this sort of composite understanding of a situation and turning it over to that mystery, you start to gain that power within you of understanding there's something bigger happening. So you're not afraid to step out of that comfort zone and embrace those things that once seemed irrational or once seemed impossible, because you understand that's how your intuition works. You have to get comfortable outside of your comfort zone, and eventually you will, and then your confidence will grow because you'll learn to trust it. Once you practice it and you know that feeling, you'll know it. You're like, this is my intuition. I know what it feels like. It might sound crazy. People might think I'm nuts, but I know that that's my intuition. And that's the place we all inevitably get to when we start developing our intuition, because it is such a mystery.
Is there a sort of a common sense to it also?
Well, there is. Yes, great question, because that's the thing that we, some of the work we've done at Intuition Lab when we're trying to, really go deep into this is it is repeatable. It's learnable. It's like the mind in terms of the fact that it does follow its own systems. It's not totally willy-nilly, right? It's like quantum physics. It follows these laws, but they are the laws that are they're unpredictable laws. So
Yeah.
you just have to sort of learn the core elements. In the book I talk about them. Like there are certain principles that intuition follows, right? And then it just expresses itself in different ways. So once we get a hold of those basic functions, that it's there to serve us, it comes in that moment of insight. It's something that we receive. It comes when we open to it. It is a matter of vibration. When we're a low vibration, we don't hear it or connect with it, right? When we're in high vibration state, it becomes clear and we have those sort of knowings. And there's this fundamental fact that we're all connected on another level. Once we recognize that and honor that, suddenly intuition makes a lot more sense.
Yes, I've also, all my life I've also had this, I've been told you're ahead of your time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's not because, or I do things, it's like I do the right thing accidentally. You know what I mean? I had no idea what to do, but I just did the right thing accidentally. So it's like I don't give myself credit for the intuition that I have, but it does guide me, and it generally guides me in the right direction.
Well,
And I
I
just,
love what you just said about you were ahead of your time. That is the hallmark of intuition. And the other thing that you said about doing it by accident and you didn't even realize what you were doing. Those are two really classic hallmarks of intuition, because intuition is really, we talk about things like innovation and transformation and change and all that new stuff. That's intuition, ingenuity. Think of all those words that have in it, right? Intuition is all about doing that next thing before anyone else. It's the trailblazer. Because with your intuition, you follow yourself. You're not following other people. The
right,
mind follows other people, right? So you're not going to be ahead of your time if you're following other people. But
right,
when you're naturally intuitive, you're following yourself. And when you follow yourself, that puts you out in front. So it's natural for you to be doing things first, to be doing things that are different, right?
right, right. I've also been called the black sheep for a good part of, like, since I was a kid, because I never I never followed the indoctrination that was being given to me, you know.
Hmm.
Um, I was always marching to my own drummer, and like literally up until like a month or two before my father died, he's like, "Why do you always have to be the black sheep?" And when I was a kid, I felt like really bad. It made me think, because I always thought of that as someone who brought shame on their family, but it's just because he didn't understand me, because I just did things my own way. You know what I mean? I followed my own instincts. And so I'm learning that I'm not a black sheep. I'm just
No, no, it's like Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers. So creative people, intuitive people are natural outliers because that intuition puts you ahead of the pack. It puts you outside of the pack. So, we're all going to be black sheep. That when you use your intuition,
be
you
proud of it.
So thank
Thank
you. That was great. I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks, Sandy.
you. Thank you.
All right, should we go to Darja?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's just do hand raises now because there's like 25 messages in there I'm trying to catch up on.
Okay, we'll start. You really want in there, raise your hand. We'll do you first.
Hi,
Hi.
can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Okay, hi, thank you for having me. It's such a blessing to be here, especially on today, 111,
Yes.
kind of a auspicious day. 11's one of my power numbers, my life path number, and I'm born on the 11th. So today is a very magical day
Wonderful.
for me, and it's so cool to do this with all these people, everybody, and so thank you. I've been on my journey for about 2 years, and I have to say, yes, like the more it's finally starting to come together. It's the more I practice, commitment to a daily spiritual practice. Commitment to my cards every morning. I draw a card. I call it my daily angelic insight with my divine dream team. And having that connection and making that commitment has really given me that feeling like, oh my gosh, this is starting to feel real. Like this is real. It's just not in my, it's not only in my head, and then connecting with, all of you folks. And, it's like, I'm not making this up anymore, when you start to feel it. And I notice when you make the commitment and the consistency and to play through it, like you said, Sarah, earlier, to play through it throughout your day while you're doing the dishes, or like, I kind of have a fun game I play is called, That's How It Happens in My Magical World. You pull up to and a parking spot opens up for you, or
Yes.
something magical happens, just like, boom, you created it, and so it doesn't happen the first time, second time, but just putting it out there in the possibility realm that when you do to play, it will happen eventually.
Yes.
I like to play. It's like a fun game. I look at it now.
I love that.
So it's sprinkling magic. So
That's
thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad that you're having so much fun. I love all your energy and your smiles. And so you're definitely in a good place for this experience. So thank you.
I love yours too. I love you.
Yeah, that's right. We're all about the love here. The
Yeah.
smiles. So
Thank
thank you,
you.
Darja.
I wanted to go to
Um,
Kenneth because he had a couple questions. I think he
Yes.
had an issue with the card deck. So I
Yes.
want to make sure you were able to pull a card, Kenneth. And then you also have a question here about, your scientific versus intuitive mind. Can you hear us, Kenneth?
Yeah, maybe you can you unmute him?
There he goes.
Yes, I can hear you, just that I wasn't quick enough. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we wanted to make sure that you were able to pull a card. It looked like you were having issues with
All right, I was able to send the pack of card. Okay, I tried. I saw nothing. But I'm still thinking, could that be an answer?
Oh, did it not work?
You set a card that you sent, okay? I tried to open it, but it just opened my son. It was an empty set. I didn't see anything like numbers or pictures or anything, or writings on it or anything. Could that be an answer?
Well, I mean, we could look at that as a sign, like, it could be a sign of an intuitive block. Or let me just see. I'll pull it up and see if I can't pull one for you. How about that?
Go ahead.
Together. I'll show you guys how the card deck work. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. There we go. See if I can do it. There we go. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Sarah, can you see
Yes.
that? All right. So is this the page you're on, Kenneth?
Yes, that's the page I was on. And you know the place I was. Yes, I was right there.
All right. So
Right at that.
let's cross our fingers. Let's hope it works. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to call my web developer tomorrow. There you go.
Okay.
Can you take a picture of your screen right now?
No, I'm not in a position to.
Okay, I thought maybe you could take that with you, but if you get a sense for what your first impression is on that card. What's the first thing?
Beauty, and flying, complications, challenges.
Like this, all this. Yeah, I see that. But where do you see it resolving and going somewhere? Like maybe some.
I don't, as I said, flying, I don't see any. Well, there's sunshine, so there's some level of hope.
There you go. That's what I'm saying too. All right. So what I'm going to do, Kenneth, I'm going to take a picture of this card for you. And if you send me an email, I'll send it to you, okay?
Okay.
And then you can practice with it at home and take it into your meditation and journaling as well.
Thank you.
All right. And what was the question, Sarah, about that he had?
Let's go up. Is it possible to allow my scientific mind to overpower my intuitive mind?
Yes. I mean, I think a lot of people do that a lot naturally. If I'm understanding the question right, is it possible or is that what it was? Possible?
Yeah, is it possible?
Yeah, I think we live in that state. We're conditioned to live in that state where our scientific mind is like, okay, if it's not real, if we can't figure this out with a formula, then it's not real. But guess what? The great news with that is science now supports intuition. So if you really want to start following your scientific mind, read more about quantum physics, because then you'll be like, oh, all this stuff is totally possible. I can't believe that we haven't realized it all along. But see, 100 years ago, we didn't understand quantum physics. Things like entanglement and wormholes and string theory and all the multidimensional aspects of life, that we couldn't conceive of that reasonably. It seemed like craziness. But now we understand that that's the way the universe really works. That's what the universe is on the inside, that this world around us is the shell that some other world is putting out there for us, a simulation, so to speak. It's something, an illusion. It's Maya. It's not the real thing. The real stuff is quantum stuff, and it's very scientific. So if we really want to make that shift, the scientific mind and intuition come together in quantum physics, and it becomes very much a real byproduct of just our simple human design. Does that answer your question?
That was Kenneth's question too.
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, do we have
Um,
any more? We probably have time to take maybe one or two more.
Yeah, I think we got most of them. Let's see. Karen asks, how does quieting your mind enough to hear your intuition relate to meditation? Seems they both take practice. Yeah, I
Yes.
would agree. Yep.
Yeah, and really, meditation creates that portal, that gateway to intuition. So the more that you practice meditation, the more you're going to prime the pump for your intuition. Because to get into that intuitive space, we need to have the quiet, we need to have the calm and the stillness. So they're very much complementary. You don't need to meditate to use your intuition because you can use your intuition all the time. But it's through meditation that we make our intuition stronger, that we can come back to our intuition, that we can go deeper into our intuition. So meditation is a wonderful tool for deepening our intuition and for maintaining our intuitive practice.
Yep. Agreed.
Yay.
And it's okay if you don't do it for a few days. We all fall off the
Yes.
meditation wagon. There's so much
Yes.
shame and guilt when we fall off. So don't feel guilty. We all do it.
Yes. And even if you have to do it just for even if you're just taking a bath or a shower and you just have a minute to go into that space, it doesn't have to be an hour long, thing that you have to carve out in your life. You can steal moments and move into that space and just take and pause and smell the flowers.
I think that's it for the questions in the chat. Did anyone else have a question? Shailene, I don't know if your hand is still up from your previous question or if you had another one.
I do have one more question. So
Okay.
I feel like I am getting back on like my personal intuition journey because I got away from it and started helping others with my intuition more. So I was using it for others. How do you balance the two? How do I stay strong in my own personal use of my intuition, but also use it in my business?
Such a great question. And that it really hits the heart of the intuitive, because once you really start to, step into your intuitive gifts, you will feel that call to serve, right? Intuition doesn't happen just to happen. It happens to move us so that we can do our own part to make the world better or to share something or create something or help other people. So it's a very natural process for intuitives to go out there and help other people. And especially if you get into, intuitive counseling or intuitive jobs and you can deplete yourself. So it's so important to create those boundaries for ourselves and do these little kinds of things that recharge our own intuition and put that at the forefront. So if you're doing a lot of work, so if you do a certain amount of work, you notice you're recharged by it, right? You're like, oh, you feel great because you're in your intuitive zone, and that just fills you up. But if you do too much of it, then you start to get burned out and you feel like, oh. So I completely understand where you're coming from. I have to balance that myself in my life. So, I think like everything else, it comes to that very important point of creating boundaries and self-care for yourself and understanding, well, this is my limit. I'm going to do this a certain amount and I'm going to carve out this time for yourself and remember to put yourself first. And one of my famous sayings that I say nonstop is do nothing like it's your job. Right? So it's our job to go out and serve and help and do all that other stuff. But it's also our job to be with ourselves and have time with ourselves and have that inward time. So for as much as you're scheduling these things with your clients or through your work, schedule time with yourself. Go for that walk every day, take that long bath or shower, or go for a bike ride, whatever it is that you love to do alone with yourself, do more of that. That's my advice. I don't know if Sarah, if you have anything to add to that.
I mean, you pretty much said everything I was thinking. I mean, just creating self-care rituals. If you have a full calendar like I do, I literally have to put things on my calendar, like this Sunday, take a bath, with orange peels, like whatever. I get real
Mhm.
specific, So yeah, self-care is number one. And just also creating sacred space in your home, just having somewhere to retreat to, that's not your office or,
Yes.
with your family or with your kids, just having somewhere to go to be private and retreat, to just rejuvenate yourself.
Yes, I thank you for bringing that up, because like creating like something like this, like you have a place where you can just go and just have it be your space and not be interrupted and not be depleted. That having that sacred space is so valuable. So thanks for bringing that up too, Sarah. That's a great point.
Thank you. Yeah, that helps a lot. That's basically what I think Darja said, like my spiritual practice. I need to like up that, because as I give myself more to others, now I need to give back to myself because I
Yes.
haven't been enough.
Yes, it's always going to be a reciprocal process, right? It's that yin and yang. For as much output, you need as much input, right? If you don't have that balance, then you're going to get things out of whack. So if you're giving, you have to make an intention to give more to yourself in equal measures. So that's a great point. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
All right.
We had one more question come in,
All right.
and it is a good one. So I think we should just address it.
Okay.
I've started using a pendulum.
Hmm.
Is that considered a tool for intuition, like your cards?
Yes, yes, such a great question. And one of the things we're going to work on in Intuition Lab this year is more of these tools, more work with these tools. Yes, absolutely, it is an intuitive tool. And again, coming back to the fact of understanding how pendulums work. It's in the old days we'd be like, oh, the spirit's moving it around or something like that. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's those very microscopic muscle movements that are connected to our psyche, to that higher part of ourself that knows all the answers. So yes, so that, even like muscle testing, all of those things, the body is a powerful conduit for intuition in so many ways. So there are so many different tools that we can use. I love the cards. The cards are such a great intuitive development tool because they help you to tune into your own intuition and learn your own intuition. But using things like the pendulum, and oh my gosh, there's too many to even go in to right now, but yes, they can all be ways of getting validation, right? So ultimately, we don't want to rely on tools. Tools are there to help us grow, or they're there to back up what we already know, but we want to learn to rely on our own self so that we don't ever need any tools, so that we always have what we need whenever we need it. And then the tools can be a fun way to validate things if we're not sure of something, and get backup, or to get a second opinion from our tool or from our pendulum. That's a lot of fun sometimes. All right. Anybody else? Last call for questions before we wrap things up for this wonderful evening. Wow, great questions, everybody. I am so impressed with all the great questions and the insightful comments. And wow, what a beautiful group we've had tonight. What a beautiful group. So I really thank you all for coming. And if anybody else has any other questions, last call. Hi, Kelly. Get to see you. I haven't seen so many people in so long.
Kim, I'm going to put the link to the sacred guide in here for
Yes.
those that are interested. Is there anyone in here now that already signed up for this year's?
Yes. There's a bunch.
Yeah. Monique,
Yeah.
I see her shaking her head. Cool. Yay.
Yeah. I can't see anybody. So I can only see like
okay.
a certain chunk of people. I can't see the whole group
right.
here. So
well, for anyone else interested, I put that link in there. So check that out. Great.
Oh, there's Linda. All right, I changed my view. Now I see. I'm James. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Risa. Michelle and Karen. Rachel. Oh, two Rachels. We got two Rachels right next to each other on my screen. Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, I'm glad I just got to move around and see some faces a little bit. So thanks everybody for coming. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the new year. I'll be doing more events like this. And like Sarah said, feel free to check out that link and join us for anything that you're interested in doing. And having some more intuition fun. So, all right. On that note, thank you everybody for coming. It's been a pleasure. Have a wonderful night. Wonderful rest of your 2022.
Thank you, Kim.
All the best.